It's time to talk about Pop! OS 20.04. Hey everyone, what's happening? As you may know, I've been using Pop! OS on my main daily driver computer for about a month and a half, something like that. And I upgraded to 20.04 on the day it came out, unexpectedly, because I did an apt update and we had a little fiasco with that. If you didn't see the video about that, it'll be up in this corner. And it kind of screwed up the system a little bit. And then apparently I'm not the only one who had that problem. So it's not just me. And apparently that might be a bug in the way they did the update process. And if it was, well, I would highly suggest that they make sure that doesn't happen again, because it did break several systems as far as I know from the comments on that video. Other than that, the update process went rather smoothly. I had a couple things break. Normally, when something breaks with an upgrade, it's normally something with GNOME and its extensions. And usually, all I have to do with doing that is just update the extension, or sometimes I just have to uninstall and reinstall the extension or something like that, and it's fixed. But other than that, it went pretty smoothly. Let's go ahead and jump over to the desktop now and take a look at Pop! OS and the way it works. So here we are on my Pop! OS desktop. Now, if you were installing this out of the box via USB stick or whatever medium you choose, there are a couple differences between what you see here and what you're going to see with a clean install. One is the wallpaper will be different. Of course, I changed my wallpaper to whatever I want it to be, so that's a minor thing. Another thing is this dock will not be here. This is an extension called Dash to Dock that I have to install. It does not come by default, and neither does this application launcher menu up here in the upper left-hand corner. And of course, I've got like Caffeine and a couple other extensions installed as well. But other than that, it's basically your standard GNOME layout. So first off, let's go ahead and bring up a terminal, and we're going to check a few things here. And let's go ahead, let's maximize this, and we're going to go ahead and zoom this in a little bit, and so you can see. And first, we're going to go ahead and check memory usage. Actually, let's just run an HTOP. That'll tell me. As you can see, I'm using 1.7 gigabytes of RAM, but I'm also recording, and I've got a couple other things running in the background. Typically, a Pop! OS install with this version of GNOME uses about 800 megs out of the box when you first boot. Also, we're using about 20% of my CPU, but I'm also recording as well, and that's taking some CPU as well. So it's not too bad. Let's go ahead and run a NeoFetch to check the kernel. And of course, we're using a 5.4 kernel. I haven't changed this to Liquorix yet, which I probably will in the next couple days. Let's see, of course, we're using GNOME as the desktop environment. And we're using Bash 5.0, which is actually a new version. Now, I'm not going to go diving into the versions of LibreOffice, etc. I'll pop them up on the screen of the version numbers, because you will get these version numbers the same throughout everything in the Ubuntu 20.04 family. I will only show it if they're different in any of these particular reviews, just to save time. Now, Pop! OS 20.04 includes a brand new feature called Pop Shell, which adds window tiling to GNOME, which is generally not supported out of the box with GNOME. And it also tries to mimic the functionality of a tiling window manager when you set key bindings. And pretty much, let's bring up my video editor, and let's bring up something else. Let's bring up Lutris. and it should tile them like this. And basically it mimics the functionality, and as I open up some other things, let's just bring up nibbles, it's going to go ahead and tile them like this. Now you can change this layout and stuff, but I'm going to go into further depth with Pop Shell in another video, so we're not going to dive into that just yet, and I will tell you how I like and stuff. I haven't really played around with it that much because I haven't had time, but I will, and be on the lookout for that video. Now that was my little review of Pop! OS. I've had very little problems with this version, but the upgrade went decent for me once I caught the fact that it was going to upgrade with that ABT update, and I ran dist upgrade instead of the standard upgrade. But other than that, it worked just fine. Now, a lot of people might be wondering what the difference between Pop! OS and Ubuntu 20.04 is, and there are a couple differences. They add a few more extensions to GNOME. Ubuntu 20.04 has the dock at the left, where Pop! OS doesn't even have a dock when you start out. Pop Shell, and there are a few other things that they do. They add a couple more things with their own repositories to so that you can get more software without adding a bunch of PPAs, etc. Now, the major difference that I would say sets it apart is its ability to work with NVIDIA out of the box. I find that Pop! OS handles NVIDIA better than Ubuntu 20.04 right now. Even though they both include the drivers, Pop! OS has its own NVIDIA ISO, and Ubuntu includes the NVIDIA drivers on their ISO. I still find that Pop! OS handles NVIDIA better. So if you have an NVIDIA card and you just start out in Linux, this would be the version I would recommend for you. Other than that, really it's whatever you want to choose. I wouldn't say there's much difference, at least to the normal user. I know there's some things that they do differently, but just looking at it, it's whether you want that dock on the left or not. So yes, I would recommend that you go ahead and give Pop! OS 20.04 a try. It's stable and it works just fine for me, so I'm going to be continuing using it as my daily driver for now. But who knows, I'm a Linux YouTuber, so I will most likely eventually change, because I changed from Linux Mint to this just because that's just what I wanted to do. But I'm still going to be doing Linux Mint videos eventually. I gotta get back into that sometime. Now, there are more 20.04 release reviews on the way. I'm going to be getting those done this week, hopefully, because I'm going to be reviewing all the other flavors. Now, if you like that video, go ahead and give it that thumbs up. If you didn't, that's what that thumbs down button is for, and go ahead and click that subscribe button. I will see you in the next one. If you like my content and wish to support my work, you can do so on Patreon. The link is in the description. Also, if you wish to see more, check out the videos on your screen.